morning from Disturbia on the 5th of December. I want to read a comment that I found yesterday on the internet. It was written in response to the dialogue between a psychologist and an ex-television moderator. The psychologist is from Austria, and the television moderator is a German man. And they were talking about what's wrong with the church nowadays. And of course, my belief and observation is that the church is nothing more than a disguise for the minions of Satan to go about their dirty work in the name of God. And their God is not the creator, but the destroyer. And this man says, I'll show you what his name is here. David Pfannek Brunnen. He writes, a church that does not throw itself before the legal protection of the womb, protecting itself with its body and life, perishes as a result of old age. Abortion is a term from the witch craze that describes ritual murder. It describes witch rituals. By laying hands on the womb, or through other practices, the witch receives a sign from the spirit world that tells her that the soul of the child in the womb wants to penetrate the earth and cause harm, and must be expelled back into space in order to ward off this harm. Her cloudy eyes look into the spirit world, which whispers to her, what is an abortion of a sinful soul carried out in silence compared to a child that causes harm and is trying to penetrate humanity on earth? Isn't that just the craziest thing you've ever heard? Wherever the language of the witch cult is used, the rolled up gift, the child in the womb, will find no salvation. A witch can carry out ritual murders in the form of a Christian angel face or a beautiful woman. The evil that is conspired against itself claims to want to help and do good before it draws the knife to kill. You see, the evil that has conspired against itself, all this evil is self-abnegating. If you think about it, it's self-destruction. But the devil has talked mankind with a lot of words, with a lot of charms, into believing that if he rids himself of the fruit of the womb, then he is free. Interestingly enough, parallel to this ado in the Bundestag now in Germany, Assyria, Mystery of Babylon, Angela Merkel has published a book which she calls Freedom, Freiheit in German. The evil that has conspired against itself claims to want to help and do good before it draws the knife to kill. That is what abortion is. It is killing. It is murder, period. You cannot gloss it over with, oh, it's a woman and the child isn't wanted and she has a right and it's her own body. Well, yes, it is her own body, but she gave it to a man to plant a seed in it. That's what sexual intercourse is for. That's what God made it for. To grow the fruit of the tree of your garden. In fairy tales, the witch was portrayed as an old hunchbacked woman with a hooked nose. In modern times, when crimes are put in relation to other crimes, relativized, this is what they do. They like to relativize everything. It's all relative. The theory of relativity. God does not change, folks. The laws of God were set in stone, and they did not magically disappear. In modern times, when crimes are put in relation to other crimes, relativized, the witch becomes a healing herbalist. In times of slave trade, witch burning, communism, and National Socialism, those citizens who ordered and carried out torture to extort confessions were afflicted with witch mania. But I'll tell you what, history has been rewritten to exalt and exonerate witches, but in fact, it was the Christians who were murdered and slaughtered, burnt alive at the stake, drowned, put in chains and left to die in their own excrement. That's the truth, folks. In the obsession of eco-socialism, the dark witch cults have returned in the exploitation of the gift rolled up in the womb. If our heart does not feel the small suffering, it causes great suffering. If our heart does not feel the small suffering, it causes great suffering. The prevented lullaby gives birth to a pain that never goes away. Read the book, Return of Bolshevism, Signs of a Culture War. Now, I have to say, I did not find this book on the internet, Return of Bolshevism, Signs of a Culture War. Evidently, it either doesn't exist or it's been scrubbed. I've noticed that on archive.org they have been scrubbing books, or a book will appear to be available, but you can't open it and read it. This is happening more and more. Books are going to disappear, just like telephone booths have disappeared here in Disturbia. The post office is disappearing in Disturbia. Solidarity amongst mankind is disappearing. In lieu of solidarity, we have greed and a kind of cannibalism. I want your money, your hard-earned money, and I'm going to get it one way or another. I don't want to work. I want you to work, and I want your money. This is what the ministers of Baal do to us, and hardly anybody ever talks about it. Yes, I agree with the statement. This was my response. I agree with the statement. The vibrations of suffering, shame, and disgrace are released through the infanticide to resurrect Cain once again. When the ministry and ministers of Baal legislate abortion from the law of God, all hell will break loose, and they, like all those who support abortion or silently accept it out of fear, will experience the wrath of God live. What they keep calling freedom is certain death in the long run. This is now the beginning of the end, and it's interesting that the Messiah calls it birth pangs, as we rob these babies in the womb from being born